Hey guys, Midway Piper back with you today. Um, just wanted to shoot another video. Today's been an interesting day. It's one of the few rare days that I have some time. Not working either of my two jobs. Son's off at work, school. Just joking. No child labor here, I promise. And took some time to come out here and actually record some other videos for my new apparel business that I launched, Midway Apparel. I'll leave a link down there in the box. So I've got the website, and then I want to start building up a YouTube channel. So I just did product reviews, product highlights. That's the one, product highlights. So I just recorded all those just a couple minutes ago. So those will go live over the coming week on the YouTube channel. So that's Midway Apparel Life. And that channel I'm going to grow out, and I've got some themes and such planned for that. So we'll see if anybody watches those videos. Shopkeeping, housekeeping, whatever. Today I am smoking my Morgan Bones I don't know, gnarly pipe, gnarly Rhodesian kind of thing, I guess. It's a little nose warmer pipe. I actually really like the little pipes quite a bit more than the big long ones. So that's that. It's got some cool gnarly stuff going on with it. It was a random gnarly pipe sale thing that they did on the Chris Morgan Pipes website. So you bought a gnarly pipe and they sent you what they sent you, and I'm super happy with this little shape. So there we go. And in it, sorry, some Cornell and Deal's Redburn. It's a burley crumble cake. I like the Cornell and Deal tins because you can always just, well, if I did a better job. Anyways, you can just take the label off their tins when you're ready to jar it. It's a crumble cake. I left most of the crumble cake inside. There's more than this, but that's all I brought out. So this one it's a cake, and it's portions of white and dark burley blended with red and bright Virginia. Incorporates a touch of spicy dark fired Kentucky, topped with flavors of dark rum and molasses. Sound intriguing? It's pretty good, not bad. I am not exactly the burley aficionado, shall we say. I know a lot of you guys really appreciate the burley taste. I can appreciate it. I'm just not there where I'm really looking forward to the burley taste per se. So every once in a while I've been mixing some burley tobaccos in and trying those just to start to acquaint myself with the flavor of burleys a little bit better. This one does have a nice topping, so that helps. One thing I want to show you guys real quick, Piper X1X has some mugs that I've seen around. Truck and Piper Bob just got his own mug, so I figured I'd throw my own mug into the mix just to show you guys what that looks like as well. But of course, it's associated with Midway Apparel. There's the logo. But the other side of the mug, that makes me happy. Of course, I like my own logo, but it says relax with a stylized pipe. Nice reminder to myself when I take a sip of whatever lovely beverage I have. Today, the beverage in here, it's not so lovely. It's not coffee. I got it because I hope to be impressed, and I'm not. But now I have a 12-pack of it, and I have to do something with it. So I'm suffering through them. Pepsi Lime. I don't like Pepsi normally. That's not my jam. There's some weird thing to their flavoring in regular Pepsi that I just don't like. But lime sounded exciting, and I figured if I was ever going to like Pepsi, this would be the one to do it. It didn't do it. There's not enough lime in it, and it still just tastes like regular nasty Pepsi. Truthfully, I'm a Dr. Pepper kid at heart. So, Paladin, good choice. All right. So what was the point of this video today? Certainly not to highlight Pepsi Lime. Today I've been thinking a little bit more about civility. Or the lack of it, as the case may be. Those of you in the US, which I think is most of my audience, barring a few that I know of, we're coming up on elections. It's getting really close, and I can't wait for this to be finished. But call me crazy. Maybe it's just pure nostalgia. I'm at that age where nostalgia does wonderful things for you. But remember, you used to be able to express a different opinion on something, and people just said whether they agreed with you or not, and that was the end of it. They didn't attack you for it. You were allowed to have a different opinion. Yeah. I'm hoping that's going to make a comeback after the election because, oh, wow. I suppose this is my own fault. I have a cousin who, the other day, I think I've made some of my political thoughts known in previous videos, and if you're not very familiar, check out some of the previous videos. I'll probably rehash some of it here, but my cousin had made a post saying that she doesn't understand how 50% of the country is going to vote for Trump in this upcoming election. And our comment thread was filled with similar thoughts. And so probably stupidly on my part, but I decided I'd jump in. Respectfully, mind you. And I said, not to break up the echo chamber effect, but as someone who disagrees, I don't understand how so many people can be in favor of Kamala Harris. Yeah. Can you guess how that played out? I bet you can. Because I've become fond of saying the party of diversity. I think we can fairly summarize that that's how the Democratic Party sees itself. Only likes diversity when it works in their favor. They certainly don't appreciate diversity of thought. Because, yeah. I guess the best way to describe a lot of the comments started off initially as a bit of an attack. And so I laid out some of the ideas of why. I understand not liking Trump. I do. I really do. In fact, to be perfectly honest, I'm not a huge fan of him as an individual person. Now, what I am a fan of is the team he's putting together. And I've said this before on previous videos. At the end of the day, the Warhawks, the John Boltons, the Dick Cheneys, they've switched sides to a more controllable candidate in Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. They're looking for a weak candidate that they can essentially push around with the power of the military-industrial complex. Now, if you look at Trump's last run, his presidency, I should say, where he had promoted many of these war hawks, I didn't like that. And I also hated Hillary Clinton with a burning passion. I still do, so that hasn't changed. Don't worry. I was less than impressed with the cabinet picks, for the most part, that Trump picked in his presidential term. To me, it showed he did not understand the swamp that he was proclaiming that he was going to drain. In fact, he promoted a lot of the swamp. Now, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I am. I'm going to explain it to myself by saying that he is a political outsider. He's not a career politician. He came into this not having all the political connections necessarily. He came into it as a very brash, successful city, New York City landlord. And you don't become a successful New York City landlord by being passive, by getting run over by tenants and New York City departments and all that kind of stuff, who everyone's on a power trip. You don't become successful by rolling over to them. And that's where the Trump personality comes from. Okay. Now, this run, I couldn't be happier with the people he's surrounding himself by. Again, I wasn't super familiar with J.D. Vance before he was selected for vice president. Good pick so far. I'm really liking him. He's super intelligent. He can, he's really good at doing what Trump can't do, and that's controlling himself, his temper. He's very intelligent sounding. And I know Trump means well, but he just doesn't come off very well. He doesn't say well. He says the first thing that comes to his mind. And a lot of times that comes off really bad. Really bad. This whole attacking Kamala Harris thing for first she's Indian, now she's black. I get the argument. I get the sentiment. I agree with it in a lot of cases. But yeah, not the best way to go about saying that. If he had come off and said that she's using race as a bait to try to gain support, that would make more sense. If he brought attention to the fact that that's what Democrats do, that would make sense. See, around here, I don't even remember what the position is, but we've got Mike Lawler running for re-election as a Republican. And we have a New York City Democrat running against him. So Lawler's running for re-election. And the other guy that's running, the Democrat that's running against him, his name is Mondaire Jones. Okay, cool. He's black. Cool. Okay. I don't care. I don't like his policies. New York City's plenty liberal enough. The fact that Mike Lawler, as a Republican, is running for re-election is pretty phenomenal. Again, I don't have to agree with everything, but I agree. I'm more in alignment with him. Okay. Now, if you think about political signs, most political signs have last names on them, or first and last names on them. His signs just say Mondaire. Not Mondaire Jones. There's not a single sign that says Jones. It's Mondaire Jones. Now, I could be completely off bases here, but to me, it seems like they're using an unusual first name. The diversity that it hints at. Because if it just said Jones on it, you would just whatever. But Mondaire, that sounds different. And if you don't support Mondaire, you don't support diversity. Again, I could be totally off. It's just different. It's interesting. Just thought I'd, it is what it is. Okay, cool. So who else is working with Trump right now that I like? Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi was pretty high up there in the Democratic Party. She got tired of the Democratic Party. She left the Democratic Party as an independent. And some of you may be aware that just the other day she announced she was joining the Republican Party. Okay. her view on ending the endless wars, bringing back the American dream, all that. I like her. I like her. If she was running for president, I would vote for her. I would. She's not. She got crushed behind the powers that chose an old, crusty white dude to lead the party of diversity, Joe Biden. Again, not going to go off on that tangent. Okay. Who else? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Now, to be perfectly frank, I was going to vote for Kennedy. I was. From the get-go. When he was running as a Democrat, I changed my registration to a Democrat so I could vote for him. When it became evident that there was not going to be a Democratic primary, they were going to anoint a candidate, and he left. I switched to Independent Party, or I'm much happier being, because I don't want to have anything to do with the Democratic Party. And they've made it clear that the primaries don't matter anyways at this point. So, okay, cool. Now, I was ready to vote for him. I was trying to get him, I signed a petition to get him added to the New York State ballot. And then he joined up with Trump. And now that's where my vote lies. See, a lot of people can't get past the whole RFK as an anti-vaxxer thing that the media has pushed, which is crazy, and it just shows how people can't actually watch an interview and figure things out for themselves. Because at no point has he ever said that he's anti-vax. In fact, if you listen to what he said, and has said forever, that there are some concerning links between vaccinations that have not been checked. That the health department has no interest in checking. They're interested in the money aspect. If the vaccine can be proven to be effective, he's all for it. Why was he so against the COVID vaccine? Unproven, untested, rushed. And what are we seeing now? Not far off from the truth. Cool. Okay. But let's think about what he's done to the Republican Party. I don't know if any of you guys saw Trump and team spoke at Madison Square Garden. I think it was yesterday. Kennedy had Madison Square Garden cheering very loudly to the point where he couldn't talk on a microphone over everybody about making America healthy again. Talking about how screwed up the food industry is, the medical industry. He had Madison Square Garden cheering to bring health back to America. And he's not talking about doing that by banning and other things. He's talking about doing that by taking the money out of putting crap in our foods. About allowing people to make better choices for themselves. If you want to make bad choices, you want to eat shit food, you want to take trial medications, have at it. You're allowed. He's not trying to stop that. But he wants the information, the real information, available. Now, I don't know how you can be against that. Are people happy being sick? Not having good food options? Having God only knows what additives put in our food? Allowing ads on TV for pharmaceuticals so you can go to your doctor and demand them? Why? My son, 8 years old, he has ADHD. Diagnosed. We've done brain scans, it's confirmed it. We've come up with a treatment option through supplements, and it's working well for him. Maybe I'll do another video on that later. I'm definitely going to do a video on that for Midway Apparel. I'm going to have a series coming up on that channel, which again will be down below. I'm going to have a series called Humble Father, Faithful Husband. And it's going to be discussing all sorts of that family, parenthood, marriage, all that kind of stuff. Because it's important to me and it's part of the theme of the company. But he also has an autoimmune disease. And it's called PFAPA is what they're calling it. It's essentially periodic fever syndrome. And every couple of weeks, out of nowhere, for no reason that anyone can tell, he starts spiking fevers. And when I say fevers, it's not, I think this thing's done. You know, it's not 100, it's not 101, it's not even 102. It goes up to 104. The other night it was 104.7. We've taken him to doctors. We've taken him to the hospital when he's got a temperature of 104.7. He's miserable. And all anyone can say is, give him some Tylenol, keep the fever down. This can go on for a week or so, a full week of days of him just fever, 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 fever. That's not a way to live. They decided we should try giving him prednisone. And normally that works. But it also increases the frequency of the fevers. And as of the other day, I'm starting to think it's losing its effectiveness. He missed a whole bunch of Halloween activities this weekend because he had a fever. That's not normal. There's a growing number of autoimmune diseases that kids are suffering from today. It's not normal. And so far, Kennedy's the only one who seems to give a shit. Now, to tie things back full circle, back to that Facebook post, comment, people just can't get their mind past Orange Man bad. They say, why, how could you support him? And I list those reasons I just gave. You don't have to like him, but I like the team. I like the direction. And then what happens? What's the response? Well, if you support him, then you're a racist, fascist. Because I give a shit about my son and other kids? Is that so? People are still functioning with adult bodies and infant minds. When you can't take someone disagreeing with you and you resort to name calling, that doesn't make me want your candidate. And to anyone that's voting for Trump and doing the same thing, you're just as guilty. But why can't we have normal conversations again? To end this video, it's been a long one, longer than I thought it was going to run. Don't be that person. Keep it civil. And don't fall to the lowest common denominator. Let them sound like the idiots that they are. And be a good person. What does that do for you? It helps you focus on the relationships in your life that are most important. You don't need to be a people pleaser. You don't need everyone to like you. You need to have a core group of people that you all can support each other. I can't wait for this election to be done. Whichever way it goes. I hope we can finally make some progress on some of these things. I don't want a Harris victory. But honestly, it's not a complete loss if she adopts some of these popular policies like Make America Healthy Again. That shouldn't even be a controversial statement. That shouldn't be a political thing. It shouldn't be a left versus right, a Democrat versus Republican. Like I said, I'm an independent. I'm not a Republican. There's plenty of Republican policies I don't agree with. But what I hope is happening is a reshaping of the Republican Party. That's what I want to come from this election. I want the reshaping of the Republican Party to focus on things that actually matter. I want to focus back on the ideals that made America America. Freedom of speech, freedom of belief, the American dream, where anyone can come and be successful if you put in the work. I don't want an America of entitlement where people feel that because they live in this country, they should have. It's not how it works. You shouldn't, we're not here so you should have things. We're here so you can be a part of something. We are not leading this world in any positive way at the moment. And I don't like that very much. We don't have the freedoms that we once had, that this country was founded on. And I want us to go back to that. We have a very skewed understanding because the way politics is run for the last many years. Very skewed understanding of what this country was founded on. Federal government was never meant to have the powers that it has today. Don't get me wrong, some of the founding fathers wanted that, the powerful federal government. But people like Thomas Jefferson, they knew this is the way things could go. And they didn't want that to happen. All right, that's it. If you stuck around, thank you for watching the whole thing. Interested in your thoughts below. And if you got any value out of this video, feel free to share it. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.